Vulnerability is often misunderstood. Many of us see it as a weakness, a crack in the armor we've carefully constructed to shield ourselves from judgment, failure, or rejection. But the truth is, vulnerability is the birthplace of courage, creativity, and connection. It's what allows us to show up authentically, to take risks that might not work out, and to admit when we need help. When we avoid vulnerability, we also avoid opportunities for growth. Think about the moments that have shaped you the most, not the comfortable, easy ones, but the ones that stretched you, challenged you, and made you feel exposed. Maybe it was starting a new job, confessing your feelings to someone, or standing up for something you believed in. Those moments required vulnerability. They required you to show up without guarantees, to risk failure or rejection, and to trust that the outcome, whatever it might be, was worth it. And yet, so often we let fear of vulnerability keep us stuck. We avoid difficult conversations because we don't want to be misunderstood. We hold back from chasing dreams because we're afraid of looking foolish if we fail. We mask our true feelings to fit in or avoid conflict, trading authenticity for approval. In doing so, we build walls that may protect us from pain, but also keep out joy, growth, and connection. But here's the thing, vulnerability isn't about baring your soul to everyone or putting yourself in harm's way. It's about showing up as you are, even when it feels uncomfortable. It's about being honest with yourself and others about what you want, what you fear, and what you need. It's about acknowledging that life is unpredictable and messy, and that you're brave enough to engage with it anyway. When you lean into vulnerability, you allow yourself to experience life fully, the highs and the lows, the successes and the setbacks, the love and the loss. It's a practice, not a one-time event, and it requires a willingness to let go of the need for control and certainty. Perfection is a myth that we often chase, believing that if we can just get everything exactly right, we'll finally feel worthy, accomplished, or at peace. It's a seductive ideal, promising control and admiration, but it comes at a high cost. Perfection demands that we delay action until we're ready, that we silence our creativity until it's flawless, and that we hold back from opportunities because we fear falling short. It convinces us that any misstep is a failure and that anything less than ideal is not enough. But perfection is not the goal. It never should be. Purpose is what grounds us when everything feels chaotic. It's the clarity that allows us to move forward even when the path is unclear. Purpose isn't concerned with appearances or accolades. It's about meaning, alignment, and authenticity. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing what truly matters. The pursuit of perfection often keeps us stuck in cycles of procrastination and self-doubt. We hesitate to start because we think we need more preparation, more skills, or more time. We revise, tweak, and polish endlessly, afraid to let others see anything that's less than perfect. And in the process, we miss out on opportunities to grow, connect, and create impact. Perfection demands all our energy but gives little in return except exhaustion and discontent. Purpose, on the other hand, allows us to embrace imperfection as part of the process. It gives us permission to try, fail, and try again. It reminds us that progress matters more than perfection, that taking one small step is better than standing still. Purpose shifts our focus from how we appear to others to how we can serve, contribute, and live in alignment with our values. Living with purpose doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes or face criticism. It doesn't guarantee smooth paths or easy wins. But it does mean that your efforts are directed towards something meaningful, something that resonates with who you are and what you care about. It means that you're not waiting for a perfect moment to start, because you understand that the moment you take action, regardless of how prepared you feel, is the moment you begin to grow. When you prioritize purpose over perfection, you free yourself from the constant pressure to measure up to impossible standards. You allow yourself to take risks, knowing that the value lies in the journey, not just the outcome. You focus on progress and learning, not on how others might judge you. You embrace the messy, unpredictable, and beautiful process of living a life that's not flawless but full of meaning. Mistakes are often viewed through a lens of shame and regret, as if they are evidence of our inadequacies or failures. We've been conditioned to fear them, to avoid them at all costs, and to cover them up when they happen. But in truth, mistakes are an essential part of growth. They are not the end of the story, they are chapters in the journey, moments that shape us, challenge us, and ultimately help us become better versions of ourselves. When we make a mistake, it's easy to get stuck in self-blame or embarrassment. We replay the moment over and over in our minds, wishing we could go back and rewrite it. We might even let a single misstep define us, holding on to it as proof that we're not good enough or capable enough. But the reality is that mistakes don't define us. It's how we respond to them that truly matters. They are feedback, not failure signals pointing us toward what needs to change, improve, or evolve. Learning from mistakes requires humility and courage. It means admitting when we've fallen short and resisting the urge to make excuses or shift blame. It means sitting with the discomfort of having done something wrong or having failed at something important, and then choosing to see the opportunity hidden within the challenge. Every mistake carries a lesson, but it's up to us to find it. Sometimes the lesson is practical, a new skill, a better strategy, or a more thoughtful approach. Other times it's deeper learning about ourselves, our limitations, and our strengths. Mistakes can teach us resilience by reminding us that we're capable of bouncing back even when things don't go as planned. They can teach us empathy by helping us understand what it feels like to fall short and how to offer grace to ourselves and others. They can even teach us gratitude, as they often reveal the support systems and second chances we might have otherwise overlooked. But to learn from mistakes, we have to first change how we see them. Instead of viewing them as failures, we need to see them as opportunities. Instead of treating them as the end of the road, we need to recognize them as part of the process. This shift in perspective is not always easy, especially when mistakes carry real consequences. But it's a practice worth cultivating because it transforms every setback into a stepping stone, every disappointment into a chance to grow. Mistakes also remind us that we're human. They strip away the illusion of perfection and remind us that life is messy and unpredictable. They invite us to let go of the fear of being judged and to embrace the freedom of being imperfect. And in doing so, they allow us to take risks, explore new possibilities, and push the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Ultimately, mistakes are not obstacles, they are teachers. They are there to push us out of our comfort zones, to challenge the way we think and act, and to guide us toward growth and wisdom. Each one, no matter how painful or frustrating, is a chance to start again, this time with a little more clarity and a little more courage. Connection is at the core of what it means to be human. We are wired to seek belonging, to be understood, and to share our lives with others. Yet, in the rush of daily life, the importance of connection is often overlooked. We get caught up in the demands of work, the distractions of technology, and the pursuit of personal goals, forgetting that relationships are not just an add-on to a fulfilling life, they are the foundation of it. True connection goes beyond surface-level interactions. It's not just about exchanging pleasantries or accumulating likes on a social media post. It's about being seen and heard in a way that feels meaningful. It's about creating spaces where vulnerability is met with understanding, where differences are embraced, and where love, respect, and trust can grow. In a world that often prioritizes productivity over people, fostering genuine connection requires intention. It's easy to let busyness take precedence, to convince ourselves that there will be more time later for meaningful conversations, shared laughter, or heartfelt support. But connection doesn't thrive on neglect. It needs attention, care, and presence. It asks us to put down our phones, look each other in the eye, and truly listen. It requires us to show up not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. Connection also calls for vulnerability, which can feel risky. Letting others see who we really are, our hopes, fears, and imperfections means opening ourselves up to the possibility of rejection. But it's only through this openness that we can form bonds that are real and lasting. When we dare to share our stories and listen to others without judgment, we create a sense of belonging that transcends differences and unites us in our shared humanity. One of the greatest gifts we can give to the people in our lives is our presence. In a time when distractions are everywhere, being fully present with someone is an act of love and respect. It means putting aside our own agendas and truly focusing on the other person, hearing not just their words, but the emotions behind them. It's about showing that we value their experiences, that they matter to us. But connection is not limited to grand gestures or deep, long conversations. It can be found in the small moments, a smile exchanged with a stranger, a kind word to a colleague, or a shared moment of laughter with a friend. These simple acts of connection have the power to brighten someone's day, to remind them and ourselves that we are not alone. Relationships, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, require effort and intentionality. They require us to navigate misunderstandings, forgive mistakes, and invest time in understanding each other. But the rewards are immeasurable. Connection enriches our lives, giving us a sense of purpose, support, and joy that no material achievement can replace. In prioritizing connection, we also nurture our own well-being. Studies show that strong relationships are linked to better mental and physical health, greater resilience in the face of challenges, and increased longevity. Connection provides a safety net of support when times are tough and amplifies our happiness during moments of celebration. It reminds us that life is not meant to be lived in isolation, but in community. Connection is not just about what we gain, it's also about what we give. By investing in the people around us, we create ripples of kindness and understanding that extend far beyond ourselves. We contribute to a world where empathy, compassion, and cooperation thrive. We remind others and ourselves that our shared humanity is what truly matters. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have. It's finite, non-renewable, and once it's gone, we can never get it back. Yet, how often do we let it slip through our fingers, consumed by distractions, obligations, or routines that don't align with what truly matters to us? Taking ownership of time means recognizing its significance and making intentional choices about how we use it. It's about living with purpose and focus rather than letting life happen to us. For many of us, time feels like it's always slipping away. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly another year has passed. It's easy to blame external factors, the demands of work, family, or society for why we didn't do the things we said we wanted to do. But the truth is, we have more control over our time than we often realize. Taking ownership doesn't mean we can control every minute of every day. It means taking responsibility for how we spend the minutes we do have. Owning our time starts with clarity. We need to understand what truly matters to us, our values, priorities, and goals, and use those as a compass for how we allocate our time. Without this clarity, it's easy to get caught up in the urgent at the expense of the important, to say yes to things that don't serve us, or to fill our days with busyness rather than meaning. When we're clear on what matters, we can make choices that align with our purpose and let go of the things that don't. One of the biggest obstacles to taking ownership of time is distraction. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded by notifications, advertisements, and endless streams of content. It's easier than ever to lose hours scrolling through social media, binge watching shows, or jumping from one task to another without focus. To reclaim our time, we must cultivate mindfulness and discipline, learning to say no to distractions and yes to what truly enriches our lives. Another key to owning our time is learning to set boundaries. This means recognizing that we can't do everything and that it's okay to say no to demands that don't align with our priorities. It means protecting our time from being overrun by others' expectations or societal pressures and giving ourselves permission to dedicate it to what brings us fulfillment. Setting boundaries isn't about being selfish, it's about being intentional. It's about understanding that when we take care of our own time, we're better able to show up for others in meaningful ways. Taking ownership also requires us to confront procrastination. We often put off the things that matter most, convincing ourselves that there will be a better time in the future. But the perfect time rarely comes. Procrastination steals from our future by robbing us of the opportunity to make progress in the present. To overcome it, we need to break down our goals into small, manageable steps and start, even if it feels uncomfortable or imperfect. Action creates momentum, and momentum leads to progress. Living intentionally with our time doesn't mean we have to be productive every moment of the day. Rest, relaxation, and joy are just as important as hard work and achievement. Taking ownership of time means creating balance, making space for the things that rejuvenate us, nourish our relationships, and bring us happiness. It's about choosing quality over quantity, focusing on what fills us up rather than what drains us. When we take ownership of our time, we begin to see it as an opportunity, a canvas on which we can create a life that reflects our dreams, values, and aspirations. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. It's about recognizing that every day is a chance to move closer to the life we want, to connect with the people we love, and to make a difference in the world around us. Taking ownership of time is not a one-time decision, but an ongoing commitment to living with intention and purpose.